So you decided to buy a new home. Congratulations. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or whether you're relocating to a new area, the first thing that you need to do is find a good realtor. Now, this is a little bit harder than it sounds. There's over 35,000 agents just in Tennessee alone. Now, there's two big mistakes that some people make when looking for a realtor. Now, I'm going to get into those mistakes and 5 questions that you should ask potential buyer's agents right after this. Okay, like you just saw, my name's Chris McKenna with Benchmark Realty. First things first, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down below. Also, hit the bell to get notified whenever I have new content out. I do these videos once every week, maybe 2 weeks. I also do neighborhood tours and tours of homes in the greater Nashville area. So that's really cool to check out. You can see that on my channel as well. If you're moving to the area, I have a relocation guide that I can send you. Just send me an email at chris@chrismckennarealestate.com and I'll get that out to you right away. You can also find me on www.chrismckennarealestate.com. And you can also follow me on Instagram or TikTok at the Nashville Realtor. Now, what are the 2 biggest mistakes that most people make when choosing their realtor? Okay, first mistake is that people automatically go with somebody that they know, whether it's a family friend or if it's a relative or somebody like that. I mean, I get it that you want to use somebody that you know and you want to help them out, but do you want to use the right agent or do you want to use the easiest agent? I mean, I want to use the agent that's going to get me the best deal and it's going to make the transaction the smoothest. Unfortunately, it's not always going to be somebody that you know. Maybe it is. I mean, it's definitely worked out in the past for me, and I know plenty of people that have used their family members or their close friends and it's worked out for them. It doesn't always work out that way. So that leads us into the second biggest mistake. The second biggest mistake is that people don't interview agents. They just take the first person that they come into contact with or the first person that they're referred to. I recommend interviewing at least 3 agents, even if they're family and friends. I think that they should be vetted too. If it doesn't work out, just have a conversation with them. Be upfront and they should respect your decision and it shouldn't be a problem. What I don't recommend doing is having a friend that is an agent and then going to another agent and not telling your friend that you did that. And then the next thing you know, they're getting an invitation to a housewarming party. It's not going to look too good.
Big mistake.
So let's say you take my advice and you interview 3 agents. Now, what do you ask them? Well, I'll go over that now, but some might seem a little bit obvious, but they're definitely necessary. Number 1, what experience do you have? Now, there's a whole bunch of little questions that are thrown into that big question, like how long have you been doing this? Do you typically work with relocations or first-time home buyers or luxury properties? Do you specialize in certain towns? All of these are good questions to ask about their background and their experience. And this one's pretty straightforward. Number 2, how do you determine the best price for a property? Now, while this might seem like a question for a listing agent, and it is, it's also a question for a buyer's agent. All right, your buyer's agent needs to understand the market and they need to understand the condition of the home and put all of those factors together and see if the listing price is actually what that home is worth. All right, I'll give you a quick example. Today, I was with a client and he was looking at a home listed at $2.5 million. At first glance, it looked like that could actually be the price. But after you do some more digging, you find out that the home next door that's 200 square feet bigger than that one sold less than a year ago for $1.75 million. All right. Some of you might say, hey, it appreciated. The market's been crazy. You're right. But not at that rate. This neighborhood went up at about 20% this year. All right. That doesn't put it anywhere near the $2.5 million mark. All right. It probably puts it around 2.1 million, something like that. But then as we're walking through, we also noticed a few other things, that the materials that were used were a little bit of a lower grade, and there were some weird design choices that were made. All right. So all of these things factor in together and they determine the final price. Now, if you have an agent that doesn't understand all of this, then they might let you put in an offer for something that's too high or too low, but you're not going to get what the home is actually worth. Okay. Now, I'd love to tell you what my client ended up doing, but he's still thinking about it, and we're going to see some more places in a couple of days. So wasn't completely in love, and he definitely understands that this was priced way too high. Okay. And that's the whole key. Find a buyer's agent that understands when the market is slow, how low can you get those offers for your client, and then when the market is hot, how high is too high. Number 3, what strategies do you use when negotiating on a buyer's behalf? Now, this is a pretty important one, especially when the market is hot. You need to find an agent that's been around for a long time and has a few tricks up their sleeve where they're able to make a weaker offer look like a very competitive offer. Now, I can't get into specifics about what I would normally do because every client is different and every situation is unique. Every offer that we put in is different than the last one that we did. So what you need to do is you need to find an agent that's been around long enough that knows when to make a certain move in a certain situation for you. At your interview, they should know enough about your situation and the market to let you know how they're going to negotiate for you. Number 4, how do you keep buyers informed throughout the process? This is a big one. It could be the biggest one. Ask any of my past clients, read any of my past reviews online, and you're going to see one common theme: communication. In this day and age, I don't think there's any reason that you shouldn't be able to respond to a text or an email within about an hour, maybe 2 if it's a crazy circumstance. All right. But phone calls are a little bit different. I understand that if you're with a client, you can't pick up the phone, you can't talk to somebody, start that 30-minute conversation and things like that. I get that, okay? But texts and emails, just text them back, email them back. Hey, got your message. I'll get right back to you. It's a super stressful process, and if buyers or even sellers have questions, they want the answers right away. You don't want to be sitting around for 12 to 24 hours waiting for a call or waiting for a text message just to get back about some simple question. All right. Now, here's a little test. You're setting up these interviews. What I would do is about an hour or so before you're meeting with them, send them a text or an email, however you've been communicating, and just let them know that you'll be meeting them and that the meeting is still on. Say whatever you want, but just see how long it takes them to respond to you. If they're on a way to a sales meeting with you and they can't respond to you then while they're trying to pick up your business, you're probably not going to want to work with them. Number 5, what services do you provide outside of just finding homes? Now, this is a good one to ask, especially if you're relocating or if you're not familiar with the area. There are going to be a lot of different things that you're going to need and you don't have any contacts for. So that's what we're here for, is to kind of point you in the right direction. Now, there's some typical things that I offer clients. Obviously, this isn't going to be the same with everyone, but I can just give you some examples based off of what I typically do. All right. And I'm going to have to read this because the list is kind of extensive. So, typical things I provide: market reports, neighborhood info, school info, home inspectors for after you're under contract, title company recommendations, lender recommendations, attorneys, contractors for different situations. Our job is basically to be the middleman throughout this whole process. And like I said in the last example, our job is to make this very stressful process as stress-free as possible for you. All right, if you like those suggestions and you like this video, just a couple quick things. Hit that subscribe button down below, hit the bell that goes along with it. Watch the other videos by clicking the link up above or at the end of this video. You have neighborhood tours, home tours, general information about Nashville. My website, www.chrismckennarealestate.com. You can email me or get that free relocation guide, and that's at chris@chrismckennarealestate.com. Follow me on Instagram or TikTok at the Nashville Realtor. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you soon.